What's up, ballers? It's Bobby Buckets back with another episode of NBA Live Mobile. In today's episode, I'm going to show you guys how you can make your own sniping filters. So in the past, I've kind of showed you guys sniping filters that I've used and found to be successful. The downside to that is the more people watch my videos, the more people use those filters, the harder it gets for you guys to get those snipes. And also it lowers the price of those cards on the market because there's more people selling them at the prices that I recommend. So what's going to be best for you guys and for me is if I show you guys how to make your own sniping filters. That way they don't get saturated, and also it just gives you guys more options rather than the limited options that I give you guys. So first thing you got to consider when making a sniping filter is, are you going to be able to make a profit? So for example, we can search for gold players for buy it now of 5,500. We know that gold players sell for 6,000 pretty easily. So you see, oh look, we got all those players for 5,500. We'll just go ahead and buy them up. But what you got to consider is whenever you're selling gold players, if you sell it for 6,000, you're going to have a 10% tax, which means when you sell it, you only get 5,400, which means you're actually losing coins. So you want to make sniping filters that you're going to be able to get the snipes, but you also got to take into account taxes, if you're making enough coins, and that sort of thing. The second thing you got to consider is the item going to pop up enough? So good example of this is the 89 Kobe. Oh my gosh, I cannot type right now. So we'll search for 89 Kobe. Right now he's selling for about 2.5 million coins. So we look at that and say, okay, if I can sell him for 2.5 million, if I can snipe him for 2 million, then even with taxes, I resell him at 2.5, I'm still making 250k. So that's a really big profit, but what you got to think about is he going to be popping up enough? Because right now it looks like people are only selling him once every 2 to 5 hours. So that's not nearly a high enough rate for you to be able to consistently snipe him. So you might spend like 2 or 3 hours on trying to snipe a Kobe, and then one finally pops up and somebody else snipes him first, and then you're left with a wasted 2 or 3 hours. So whenever you're making a sniping filter, you've got to consider, are the items going to be popping up enough for me to be able to make it worth my time? The third thing you got to consider is, are the prices for the cards stable? So good example of this is the 75 Kobe. Whenever he first came out, very few people had him, so he was on the market selling for like 75k. So people were like, oh yeah, he's up for 50k, I'll go ahead and buy a bunch and then sell him. An hour later, the price was down to 25k, and those people lost most of the coins that they spent on their Kobe's. So you got to consider, is the price stable? Usually the cards that you want to snipe are going to be cards that have been out for at least 2 days, because spotlight players, new players like this Kobe card, their prices are going to be falling and falling until it kind of reaches an equilibrium point where the market's going to be stable for that price of the card. So you got to make sure that the price is going to be stable. Next thing you got to consider is, are you going to be able to get the snipe? So we'll look at gold cards for 3,000 and under. So there you go. There's a gold card that sold for 3,000. There's usually a decent amount of these. Even like right now, it's only like 10 o'clock in the morning, so there's not a lot of people selling. There's still one up. So there's probably going to be a decent amount, just because people either don't know the price, type in the price wrong, or just want to get rid of their cards. But you got to consider, there are a lot of bots out there that are a lot faster than you are. So they're probably running on a super fast computer. It's a super fast program. Bots are pretty much always going to get these snipes. I've tried to get these for a long time, and I've never been able to get them. So one thing that I like to do, rather than going for 3,000 and under, I know that golds will sell for 6,000. So even if I buy them for 4,000, I'm still making 1,400 coins in profit after taxes. So if I search from 3,000 to 4,000, I know I'm still making a decent amount of profit off of these golds. And you can see right there, I can go ahead and get those guys. There we go. Wow. Alright, so live snipes right there. Just got both of those guys, and I know I can resell them both for at least 6,000. So off of that CJ Miles, I just made about 2,000 coins. Off Trey Burke, I made 1,400 right there. So you got to consider, are you going to be able to get it? Because even though you might see the snipe, most of the time there's either a faster sniper or an insanely fast bot that's just going to get it before you can. Last thing you got to consider is, are you making enough for it to be worth it for you? So if you're at like 10,000 coins, sniping gold is going to be a good option because the percentage of your money that you're making is actually a decent percentage. But if you're like me and you have 2.2 million coins, getting 2k at a time isn't really going to help you unless you have hours and hours to spend sniping. So the higher your coins are, the higher you're going to want to go. So recently I've been sniping elite players. Oh, you don't want to go for impacts because their prices are all over the place. It's set for no collectibles. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Okay, well, it's not going to cooperate right now, but the higher your coins are, the higher the price you're going to want to go. So even if you're spending 60,000 coins only to make 5,000 coins, you got to consider that's about what you would make from sniping like 3 or 4 gold players for around 4,000 coins. So the higher your coins are, even if you're not making back the same percentage, if you're making a higher total profit, then you're going to want to go with that filter. So those are probably the 5 main things that you're going to want to consider when making your own sniping filter. Hope this is useful for you guys. If anything was unclear or you have any questions, please comment below. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.